Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. And if you're watching this right now, this is Steve. Welcome to the little Woodshop. And yes, if I'm in front of this camera, there's a darn good reason for it. Alright, everybody. Well, welcome. It has been months since I have spoken to any of you, and the first thing I wanted to say to all of you was thank you. Thank you so much for all the correspondence over the summer, this past fall. We hope you get better, Steve. Guys, thank you so much for all the well wishes and the prayers. It really helped me through what is stacking up to be a very, very big fight for me. Alright, well, to recap, I know there's a pile of you that just came on this summer, so thank you very much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. I do apologize, I had to shut down the website and the blog due to financial reasons. Some of you were very gracious, you actually even offered to pay for this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for your generosity and your kindness. It has meant so much to me during these last 10.5 months. Alright, to kind of recap a little bit if I can, I'm going to try to make this quick because I have to go down and get my own dinner. And trust me on the diet with this disease. But basically, here's what happened. In 2017, I told you all in the fall, I started really feeling awful. I made it through the holidays. January, I was up in this shop, basically sleeping in a chair loading the wood stove. So I was taking it easy for January. First week of February hits, I am in my bed with a bucket on the floor. I know, it's not a pretty picture, but I was not in very good shape. I was positive I had influenza. The 6th of February, my buddy grabs me, drags me to the hospital, the ER. Boom. The whole ball of wax starts on what I am now dealing with today. I probably had some type of flu, however, the kidney failure was really overpowering it. So, I'm taken from a local hospital and I'm medevac to the big city by ambulance to be worked on. I'm down in the southern half of my state in a very large hospital for 19 days getting put back together until the point I can come home, at which point, throughout the whole process of almost 3 weeks in the hospital, I went from 180, 185 pounds down to under or around 140. But nonetheless, I was able to go home. They were able to find me a center, a dialysis center, which was within 20 minutes of my house, thank goodness, to where I started my life as a kidney failure patient. I am full-blown stage 5. The only way I survive this is with a transplant, and no, I'm not doing a shout-out for one of those by any means. Like I said, it's going to take me a little bit to get through, but please, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. We go through the dialysis process, and at about 5 or 6 months into treatment, you start to have the conversation about transplant. They monitor your progression, and adjustments have to be made because this is not your body's normal way of functioning. At 6 months, though, you have the conversation generally about transplant. When you do, what I can tell you right now is by federal law, you go to a seminar. It's an all-day seminar, and it is the discussion of the treatment itself, as well as the procedures for transplant and everything all the hoops you have to jump through. The ball has started rolling for me as I did a few little shout-outs here and there. The ball's been rolling for me. I've been jumping through the hoops. I've gotten a lot of things signed off. But this is where, for me personally, renal disease, kidney failure, whatever you want to call it, has not only been a curse, but it was also a gift because I'm just about at 50. I'm actually 50 next spring, and late spring, early summer in June. So the transplant team deemed it necessary. Steve, you need a colonoscopy. Now, I don't know of any of us men folk out there that, no, you know. So I agree with my team. Let's get it done. We'll get the ugliness aside and out of the way. Well, sure enough, this routine examination that we all go through after 50, it triggered a prostate issue. At month 8, I'm diagnosed with cancer. I am currently battling both stage 5 renal failure on top of a low grade, but cancer to me is cancer. On top of, I told you when I went into the big city hospital I was about 180, 190 pounds. My weight currently, with my third diagnosis, which is cachexia, it goes hand in hand with dialysis for the amount of fluids and body weight that gets pulled off you every week. It's very hard for me to maintain a normal body mass index or a normal BMI for a man my age, my height. So my body is technically, if you want to look at it, it's kind of eating itself alive. Cachexia is chronic wasting syndrome. I eat 3 meals a day like everybody else, but I have to induce more calories in order to gain weight and keep ahead of the dialyzing process, which is not easy. I still have a couple more conversations to have with some specialists. I am scheduled for the removal of the cancer in the next 8 weeks. I have a consult next month with my cancer team. I always have consults with my kidney failure and dialysis team, but this is a new conversation, and until it's rectified, you don't get a transplant. That is the law in this country. It's not even a personal doctor's choice. These are the laws. So, what I'm going to do for you guys right now, to get to the whole point of this shout out tonight, is there are 2 pictures right now, okay? I'm going to paint both of them for you, and they are both surrounding my situation. We're going to paint picture A. I'm going to give you the best case scenario I can give you, and then obviously I'm going to give you the worst case scenario. Best case right now, it's Friday night, I want to give you the best news first. I have one more big thing coming up, which I'm going to get done prior to my cancer removal. I had a traumatic brain injury as a kid, and as I told you guys back last fall, some of the programs were missing information. I have suffered neurological damage from this disease. So, low oxygenated blood, your brain's not living healthy. You're not processing information, and you sure as hell aren't remembering anything. So, my hemoglobin came in at around or a titch under 4. I had Kool-Aid in me the night I went into the emergency room. I held the hemoglobin level. Now I'm over 13, I'm up around 14. I'm where I should be for a 50-year-old man. Kids run healthier. Somebody with maybe other physiological problems, you may hover around a 10, but a 4 is critical, it's life-threatening. You're dying. The last thing I have left to do is a scan for a traumatic brain injury. I'm going to have all this done, hopefully, before my consult happens on the cancer removal, and this is why. Best case scenario, they do a scan of my head, and it comes back absolutely empty, just the way I'm figuring it should. They ain't going to find a darn thing up there, okay? I go on to transplant. I'm not going to say I sail in because dialysis is brutal treatment, but I make it to transplant. I get an organ. Okay. Remember, we're still doing best case scenario here. I am young enough, and because I'm not willing to take a living donor, I have reasons behind it, which I share at a later time, but I'm not willing to take a living donor. I have to wait on a cadaver. So, I'm going to be on dialysis now for probably the next, I'd say at least 3 to 5 years, waiting for a transplant. I got to do what I got to do. I understand that. I survive all this, I get transplanted. The organ that's going to go in me, alright, is not going to last me the rest of my life. Best case scenario, I am going to be back in a dialysis clinic or a dialysis position again in this lifetime. This is not over for me by a long shot, and this is best case scenario. Alright, the second picture I'll paint is a lot quicker. I go in for a traumatic brain injury scan, and they find something. I'm not allowing anybody to drill a hole in my head. It's not going to happen because there's no doctor out there who's going to 100% guarantee you that when you lay down on that table and they hit you with anesthesia that you're going to sit back up and you're going to be 100% the exact same way. They cannot guarantee you that, and you know it as well as I do. At that point, This now becomes worst case. I step out of the transplant program altogether. It's gone because I'm refusing a treatment option that I have to get there. I understand. At this point, too, I'm not going to bother surgically having the cancer removed. Because in my case, there's no point in chemo or radiation, because if I don't get it all and it comes back, I'll only get disqualified from transplant anyways. It's best to remove the entire mass. It'll be gone. However, if I'm not allowing anybody to drill a hole in my head to remove a mass, there's no point in having the cancer removed. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, the time that I have left is the time that I have left, and I refuse to live it the way I have been the last few weeks. What happens as a dialysis patient in our life now, so many of you, I'm so envious of now. I always, and we do, we take our lives for granted every day. You get up, you go to work, you have coworkers, you have people that you associate with, colleagues. Some of these people become your friends. You hang out with them after work. Maybe your kids play with their children, and you almost become like a small family unit, okay? Well, a dialysis center with your fellow patients is the same way. However, after the age 72 in this country, the one thing you have to realize is this. After age 72, you need a living donor. You're no longer eligible for a transplant from a cadaver. The list is too big. There's over 600,000 of us in the U.S. alone in dialysis waiting on transplants. My theology is this now. Regardless of the time that I have left, the happiest of days that I had were the last 3.5 years up here with all of you. Alright? I have been thrusted into a bad situation that is of no... I didn't ask for this, but I'm dealing with it the best I can. Now, not to get off track, but the reason I bring up my patients and I compare them to your coworkers and you building a relationship, I've done the same thing over the past year with some of these patients, but after age 72, I've been there watching some of my friends die now. That's what I am there for every single day. People that I've grown to become fond of. I've made friends with some nice senior gentlemen who are United States veterans, and you know how much I've revered our vets, and I love doing engraving work and prayer and creed plaques for them up here. That was taken from me. The machine that I'm sitting on right now, folks, we currently have a bidder on the open market for this. I have an interested party. I have a couple other interested parties as well, but first come, first serve. I'm going to honor this gentleman, of course. I got to stand up for a minute, excuse me. There isn't much left to me, guys. I do apologize standing here. I'm 128 pounds as of the scale this morning. I've given you my best case, my worst case picture. This is the picture I want to paint. I'm going to liquidate this machine. I have no choice because I don't have the pot, I don't have the window, and I don't even have the contents anymore from no kidneys to put in the pot and throw it through the window. So we're going to liquidate the machine. I am going back into a small woodworking field. I have started a project. We're not going to release it tonight. This is the point of this shout out. Yes, I am coming back. We're relighting the fires in that stove, and we're going to turn the lights back on because, by God, for the time that I have left, I'm not going out. I'm not going out like this. Here's what I propose. I am going to pull myself out of my center. When the time of the machine does sell, I'm going to put a small dialysis unit in up here for me. It sounds like more than it is. I'm going to basically gut the inside of the downstairs of the shop, and we're going to set it up so I can dialyze at home. I want to remove myself from the situation, not because I'm angry with my center, absolutely not. I have a beautiful staff that takes very good care of me and 14 other beautiful souls. It's hard to go to these places and see what you have to see. I've left my center once, just because this treatment is brutal. At 49 years of age, I am battling a chronic as well as a terminal illness. As much as I appreciate my staff, clinical therapy today 101 involves a couch antidepressants, and some big tall guy named George to talk to maybe, who wants to ask you about things from 40 years ago. You were my therapy, all of you. This shop was my cathedral. Everything I need is right here. Alright? I can do this, but I've got to be up here. Okay? Again, for the time that I have left, this is my proposal. We're going to take the stock room in the back, and that's going to basically become the new shop. I have got to work in a very confined situation. I'm going to need to work on a stool. Standing on my feet, trying to run this equipment anymore is pretty much out of the question for me. However, I know I still have a use. I plan on taking that use, and I plan on, with the time that I have left, if it's 5 months, 5 weeks, or 5 years, or 15 years, I don't know. Okay, I do not know. But I do know this. If I drop off the transplant list, if I don't have the cancer removed, either kidney failure or cancer will kill me. That's a given. That's a fact. If my body doesn't consume itself first, because right now I think that a scarecrow on a stick in a cornfield got more stuff in it than I do, but we're going to produce a product line, and if you recall me a couple years ago telling you I wanted to write a book, a children's book, and I wanted all the money to go to a children's charity. With the time that I have left now, ladies and gentlemen, whatever we fabricate up here, whatever goes out the door on this product line, which we will be doing a shout out when that time comes. But I've got a lot to do up here to get to that point. And the machine's got to sell in order for me to even do this. But when the time comes, I'm going to dedicate the time that I have left to help raise money for some form of a charity. I would love to get your input. I obviously am kind of swaying to the American Kidney Foundation a little bit, but I know that all of us would probably be quite comfortable with seeing something like this happen for small children. I think that that would be a good universal cause for me to work and aim my skill set and my goals towards. I have come up with a product line, like I said, it won't be released tonight, but we will share this with you guys. I don't know as I'll take up writing or opening another internet presence. We will have the social media presence. We've kept the little Woodshop going on Facebook, Instagram, things like that. I need this back. I do, because if not, it's gonna make my situation worse and not better. I need to get my mind kind of off of some of the things at hand, and just spending the last few days up here with someone going over some different things has really helped out tremendously. I'm not used to sitting in a chair looking out of a window, sitting on my hands, just waiting to go to dialysis the next day. That's not who I am. You guys know that. And I gave you as much as I could. I gave you the best of the years that I had, and now I hope that I hope you guys will still be there. I hope you'll still support us when the time comes and we get ready to do the next shout out. I'll give you a few more shout outs here along the way, and we'll probably do some photos of the interior of this place getting done, right down to it being finished. Of course, we'll share all that with you, but for now, guys, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful, we got an upcoming holiday, which, by the way, I have to apologize to my veteran community out there. I truly did forget everybody on Veterans Day, and I'm a little ashamed of that. I've never forgotten you fine, brave men and women that still give me the ability to stand here and whine and complain and moan, and thank you. I did miss Veterans Day, but I will never forget my vets, all right? So to all of you guys, God bless you. Please get home safe tonight to you and yours. This was a little longer than I wanted. I gotta edit it up, but we'll keep you informed of what's going on. But please stay tuned, guys. I hope you're still there for us, and let's do this. Let's give me something to work towards, and at least give my life a little meaning, okay? Because the best thing that I can think of right now is to fabricate this next item that I'm looking at and do something to help raise money for a charity. It gives me a direction, a drive, and a purpose, and I have not had that in a very long time, okay? All right, guys, thank you. I miss you all. Please don't forget that. All right, everybody, take care and have a good evening. Bye-bye.